Welcome to another Poetry Deep Dive today. I love Denis Martindale. He has written over 3,700 poems for the Poem Hunter website. Denis Martindale has written a brand new war poem. This poem is about the skinflint gung-ho gardener who attacks his garden jungle armed with his garden jungle trimmer to save as much money as he can on garden bills. The title of the war poem is Welcome to the Jungle. Here's what the brand new poem's message shares with us today. So, welcome to this explainer where we're going to lean right into the comedic melodrama of treating routine yard work like a high-stakes military campaign.
We're kicking things off with this brilliant quote from the author that perfectly captures the mock-serious tone of the botanical battlefield we're about to explore. Nobody told me that it was going to be easy, and they were right. I mean, that instantly sets the stage, doesn't it? This isn't just some casual weekend chore. Oh no, this is an all-out struggle for survival against the elements. It completely frames the narrative, preparing us to look at a humble backyard not as a place of leisure, but as hostile territory, requiring grit, determination, and, well, a whole lot of dramatic complaining.
Section 1. Declaring War on Weeds.
Let's look at what we're up against, because the enemy here is absolutely relentless. The narrator describes a garden jungle packed with stuff that makes him look on with, and I quote, moans and groans and with a solemn face. Just look at these enemy forces. We've got weeds breaching the defenses on the paving stones, acting like they literally own the place. We have vines aggressively climbing fences over 6 feet high. And according to the author's notes, it gets worse. He's also battling creepy-crawly things and these mysterious dangly thingies coming at him from the left and right. The adversary is mounting fresh attacks every single day without an ounce of mercy.
Now, what's really fascinating here is the comedic juxtaposition between the poet's dramatic, intense language and the mundane, sigh-inducing reality of just staring at an overgrown yard. On one hand, you have this intense war theme, right? Words like no mercy and swooping like a hawk. But on the flip side, the actual garden reality is just a guy staring at some weeds with moans and groans, trying to trim back a few vines. Martindale brilliantly uses this contrast to elevate a completely frustrating household chore into an epic, ancient clash between man and nature.
Section 2. The Jungle Tremor Weapon.
Okay, so every great warrior needs a legendary weapon. For our gung-ho gardener, it is the mighty jungle trimmer. He notes that the trimmer is set to go, but there's this hilarious caveat. If not too hot or cold, he grabs his trusty trimmer firmly with both hands, totally stepping up to the challenge, provided the weather conditions are acceptable for battle, of course. It's such a wonderful reminder that our fierce combatant is, deep down, a fair-weather soldier who strongly prefers his brutal combat to happen in a mild, temperate climate.
And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer desperation and hyperbole of the moment. He physically swoops like a hawk right into the fray. The situation feels so dire, so completely overwhelming, that he declares it is time for action, not talk. But he makes one incredibly funny exception: prayer. Facing down those 6-foot vines and invading weeds, our gardener seeks just a little divine intervention before pulling the trigger on his trimmer.
Section 3. Strategies of Garden Combat.
According to the author's notes, this isn't some simple, straightforward skirmish. No way. Our skinflint gung-ho gardener has to meticulously plan his attack. It is a multi-front war plan. He's got to attack the front, attack the side, and attack the back. He notes that he swerves from left to right, fighting past his own learning curve to execute this full perimeter assault. And remember, he is doing all of this right in the middle of a heat wave. The sheer physical toll of managing all these battlefronts simultaneously is pretty staggering.
And then, the chaotic, frantic climax of the battle actually begins. The blades rotate, the tension completely snaps, the trimmer roars to life, and our hero charges headfirst into the thick of the overgrowth.
The frantic energy just totally takes over the poem right here. Slice once, slice twice. Weeds are flying absolutely everywhere in the heat of combat. You can almost hear the whir of the trimmer and see the green shrapnel flying through the air as he trims and trims and trims again, completely lost in the fog of this backyard war. But, as we know, every battle has its limits. The intense onslaught only stops when the machine finally runs out of juice. Until the power goes. Once the trimmer dies, the combat ceases abruptly, and honestly, this leads to a very nice, well-deserved rest, which every gardener out there knows all too well. The sudden silence after the mechanical roar of the trimmer gives our warrior a brief moment of peace on the battlefield.
Section 4. Financial Spoils of Victory. By late afternoon, the battle is officially called to a stop.
The casualties of this great green war, all the weeds, the vines, and those dangly thingies he chose to chop, are unceremoniously shoved into the dustbin, which fills up pretty soon. The physical toll of the combat is real, guys. Our skinflint gung-ho gardener takes one last look around at his conquered territory, and then he staggers back to the house, walking kind of funny from all that exhaustion and swerving.
But here is the ultimate twist of our explainer today. Why go through all this agony? Why face the heat wave and the 6-foot vines in the first place? Well, more cash for me inside my bank to spend on you-know-who. That's right. The epic war against the garden jungle was waged entirely to save money on expensive professional garden bills, all for a special someone. It wasn't about the glory of combat or taming the wild earth at all. It was just a frugal partner trying to save some cash to spoil their loved one.
And that brilliant twist leaves us with a really fun question to ponder as we wrap up this explainer. What exhausting, everyday chore are you turning into an epic battle just to save a little cash? I mean, we all have our own backyard jungles and our own battles we fight to protect our wallets, right? Denis Martindale's fantastic poem reminds us to find the humor, the drama, and most importantly, the love hidden inside our most tedious tasks. Thanks so much for joining me on this poetry deep dive.